Okay, so I finished distilling. Obviously, we didn't have enough alcohol in the beer to get what I wanted. We have about 50 liters in the 60-liter keg, and it's 120 proof. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it in this barrel. Obviously, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to get double this amount. I probably have another half of keg of 80% alcohol. I'll use that on the next distilling run. I talked to Fermentis, and there's some things that I can do with that particular yeast and get some enzymes and some nutrients so that it ferments out all the way. I'm also going to brew a higher gravity beer with less water because this boiler, I can only do 200 liters at a time, and if I have a batch that's 800 liters, that's a minimum of 4 distillations in this thing, and it takes 6-7 hours each time, and then doing a stripping run and then doing a spirits run. So I think I'm going to try to pare it down to like 600 liters, maybe even a little bit less, and get a high gravity beer, maybe around 12-13%. I don't want to go too high because then that can affect the flavor. But then that way I only have to do maybe 2 or 3 runs versus the 4. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I have our new 50-liter barrel. It's been branded. It has our name, Bendita Carmelita, on the front there. I had originally ordered them without the faucets here. They call them llaves here in Mexico. I've already had my 2 cents with the company. That's La Casa Barril in Jalisco. They're a great company, but I did not want the faucets in there because they're going to be on display when customers come in, and of course, I don't want somebody messing with the faucet and then opening it up, and so I'm gonna have to wrap these up in cellophane or something and then put a tag on it, don't touch. But it is what it is. I got the barrels here. They had to FedEx me the faucets so I could use them. So upward and onward, and we gotta go. So basically this is the same collection tube that I used. I sanitized it when I used it for collecting the spirits. This is the same keg that I used for my stripping run. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I smelt it, it smelled good, so I just reused it. So when I did my spirits run, I put it right back into this keg. I did not have to welcome to my world. I kept hearing some water going on in the background, and I do this constantly, and I don't know if any other brewers do this, but I turn on the water to fill the kettle, the hot liquor tank to get some hot water and heat it, and then I forget that I have it on. So I'm hearing this water drop back, or water falling on the ground back there, and it's because it's overfilled. Anyway, so where was I? So yeah, so I have about 50 liters in here. When I filled it with the spirits run, I did a sample at the end, and it was already at 120 proof. So I didn't have to distill or water it down or anything. Since I did a stripping run and a spirits run, I'm not going to filter it. It's going to go straight into the barrel just as is. And obviously when I go ahead and bottle it later, I will filter it just to get some of that wood flake, residual, floaties, if you will, that will be in the whiskey. I'll filter that off before I put them in the bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this with CO2, and I have it hooked up to my main CO2 tank in the back. I just turn the CO2 on here. I'll just crank it up a little bit here, and let's start filling. And I have it outside of the barrel so you can see the whiskey coming out. Can you see that? I'm going to go ahead and put that back in so I don't waste any of it. And now we're filling. Now, this barrel, and I'm pretty much all new oak barrels. I don't know how they do it with the 200-liter barrels. I'm assuming similar. Maybe they don't do it. but it is advised to put water in this barrel for 24 hours so that it allows the wood to absorb the water, to swell, so that there's no leaks. So after 24 hours, you don't see any water on the floor, you're good to go. So I filled this with water yesterday, dumped it down the drain, and now I'm ready to fill. So it should be tight with no leaks. Not saying that you're never not gonna have a leak, but you might. So you'll notice it's on the floor. I don't have a stand anywhere. I will need 2 people to lift this up and put it on the rack. And I'll take a picture and a little video of it on the rack as well when we get this all said and done. I put the date here. It says the 8th day of April, 2022, number 1. This is the first one. So I've made whiskey in the past in my house, and I did some before I had this particular still, but this barrel right here was 100% made on the new brew house with the still, and so I just started fresh, barrel 1. So I'm pretty happy, and everybody calls me Don Jimmy down here. It's kind of funny, but the name of our whiskey is Don Jimmy. It's 40% alcohol. It will be cut down to 40% ABV, and it's made with a 66% two-row malt and 33% or 34% corn bill. And it is a malt whiskey according to the TTB in the US. In Mexico, they don't have any regulations on, at least I have not been able to find it. So I'm just going off what the TTB says. So it is a malt, considered a malt whiskey. Since we're the only distillery distilling it, it's not being blended or anything, it is considered a single malt whiskey. Yeah, 100% Mexicano. So it was made in Mexico, born in Mexico, and with Mexican ingredients. It's filling pretty quick. I'm gonna turn down the CO2 just to, so I don't have to, I mean, there's enough CO2 pressure in there to continue pushing it. Now, I've asked several people in the past, and I've seen charts on 20-liter and 50-liter barrels. This will age from anywhere from 6 to 12 months. It's because there's a greater surface ratio or surface area ratio of whiskey hitting oak than there is in a 200-liter barrel. So what that means is that there's much more whiskey or much more oak touching the whiskey in the small barrel than there is in a large barrel. That's why it takes them to, oh, there it goes. That's it. Boy, that smells good. That's all she wrote. And we're right at 50 liters. Okay. It's full. Now I got the top on. And of course the whiskey ran out and I got some lines on here. But it should age in about anywhere from 6 to 12 months, and I'll take little samples along the way. But you know, being a little micro distillery or micro brewery, doing these little tiny barrels really is fun, and it speeds up the process. And I mean, it's relative to the size of the barrel. I've had a couple barrels that I've done in the past on the smaller system that I've aged too long, and you get some funky flavoring. So our last whiskey was aged for 8 months, and it turned out fantastic. So we're probably going to target 6 months for a taste. Maybe I'll keep it going for another 8 months, but I'm going to start brewing some more, and I'm going to make some changes because I definitely want to get at least 100 liters per batch or more versus 50 liters. So thanks, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button or the bell. Really appreciate it, and thanks for watching our video.